To see Malik Cunningham on that list coming into the season, but after a topsy-turvy season with some injuries, Malik Cunningham has decided to enter the NFL draft and skip the Fenway Bowl against Cincinnati and against his former coach, Scott Satterfield. Best of luck to Malik Cunningham in the NFL. We certainly enjoyed watching you play at Louisville. And Louisville and Pitt volleyball, speaking of the Cardinals, both reached the semifinals of the NCAA tournament. Congratulations to both those teams. Good luck. Bring one home for the ACC. Thanks for watching In Play. I'm Drew Carter. We will see you next time. Happy holidays and enjoy the rest of your Monday.
Tor comes up to get it. Swings it. Ooh, silly. Great by Poteet.
Oh, Virginia Tech is cruising. And it's not just Tech, it's UVA as well. Between those two teams, one loss combined. Where do the Who's check in the new AP Top 25? Are they number one like some expect? And where are the Hokies? Plus, elsewhere on the hardwood, North Carolina back in the win column. Armando Bacot back on the floor. Carolina gets a much-needed win over the weekend.
It's the first thing that I said to the coaching staff. It's the first time I looked at it and I go, man, this looks like Carolina basketball. It was great.
More from Hubert Davis coming up in the show. And Syracuse men's soccer tonight has a chance to win the first national title in program history. We will preview the Orange and the Hoosiers on In Play. It starts now. What's happening? Welcome to the studio. Welcome to In Play. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. Hope you're ready for a loaded show that includes football. Yes, football. We're still talking football. AP All-Americans are out. We'll tell you who made it from the ACC. Plus, hear from Jim Boeheim after he went into the Syracuse Ring of Honor. And we'll tell you why the Portal King in basketball resides in the ACC. And speaking of ACC basketball, let's get you acquainted with what's going on in the league right now. And man, this league looks really good, especially in the Commonwealth, where Virginia is up to number 2 in. Only Purdue ranks ahead of the Who's. There was some thought that maybe the Cavs would go all the way up to number 1. They did get 19 first-place votes. I don't have a vote. If I did, it'd probably go to UConn, but Virginia belongs right there at the number 2 spot. They play Houston, who's number 5 this weekend. Elsewhere in the AP poll for the ACC, we got 4 teams ranked in the top 25. Virginia at number 2. Duke is up 3 spots from 15 to 12. Virginia Tech checks in the AP poll at number 24 after a great weekend for them. More on that in a moment. And Miami fans wanted their team to be ranked, and they are, as Jim Larinagas Hurricanes check in at number 25. Well, let's go back to the Hokies because they had a great weekend in Brooklyn. They have won 5 games in a row, including a bunch over Power 5 opponents, highlighted by the one over Oklahoma State at Barclays Center. This Virginia Tech team is in cruise control right now with only 1 loss on the season. Wins over Penn State, Oklahoma State. As you see, it has been a phenomenal season for Virginia Tech. And this 70-65 win really highlighted by what they did defensively, forcing 17 turnovers, a season high, and scoring 19 points off of those turnovers against a pretty good Oklahoma State team. Virginia Tech 10-1 on the new basketball season. And we now welcome Mike Barber, one of our favorites, does a fantastic job covering all things Virginia sports for the Richmond Times-Dispatch. Mike, it's got to be fun to cover hoops in the Commonwealth right now. Let's start with Virginia Tech, who we just talked about. Hokies lose Keve Aluma, Storm Murphy. Seems like they're actually better this year than they were last year. How has Mike Young done it?
Yeah, and Mike Young has done it exactly the way he did it at Wofford, really, with some older guys, some guys he's comfortable with. Certainly the addition of Grant Basile, the transfer, has been big for them. But this is a team that plays Mike Young basketball. They share the ball. They're unselfish. They're committed on the defensive end. They can shoot the three-point shot. So these are all the things that, when Mike Young was hired, and you say, what does Mike Young basketball look like? This is what it looks like, and he's been able to do it. You're right, despite personnel losses. They look very strong. Having Justin Mutz back, obviously, is huge. There's a lot of reason to be excited right now about the Hokies.
Yeah, Mike Young basketball, a lot of wins and a lot of popcorn. You mentioned Grant Basile there. Were these your expectations for him when he transferred in, or has he even surpassed that?
I think he's surpassed it. I think he surpassed it in the sense of I wasn't quite sure where he fit. Obviously, they have Mutts in the front court. Vasili's a guy who can play both inside and out. He is such a good three-point shooter when he gets going. This team has just come together in a really impressive way. I think we knew that Sean Padula, Hunter Couture, and potentially Darius Maddox, who's gotten off to a bit of a slow start, but certainly is still a force out there. I think we knew that they were going to bring outside shooting, scoring from the backcourt. I think we knew what Mutts could do. Vasili's really been the missing piece, and like I said, he's been able to do it both inside and out.
And on the other side of the Commonwealth Cup, Virginia still unbeaten, up to number 2 in the country. As a college basketball fan, Mike, I'm happy to see UVA back to what they were on those vintage Tony Bennett teams. How is this one similar and different to those teams from a few years ago?
Well, certainly it's similar because it all starts on the defensive end, and they have some great individual defensive players who are playing unselfish team defense within that pack line system. When you think about Reese Beekman on the perimeter, might be the best perimeter defender in the ACC. Certainly Leaky Black is great as well. Caden Shedrick has really come on to not just be a shot blocker and a rim protector, but he's so active at the back of the pack line now. His steals, and it's a more disruptive pack than we've seen. So certainly great defense. It starts there, but this is an offensive team that is very dangerous. And I know that's not normally what people associate with Virginia, and people laugh about Tony Bennett offensively, but his best teams have been very efficient offensively. Yes, they play a low possession game. They're not going to have the ball a ton, but they're scoring when they have the basketball, and it's why they've been so impressive really on both ends of the floor at this point.
They've had some awesome point guards come through there in recent years. 2 questions on Kihei Clark. Number 1, were you there covering the team when he started his career in 1961? And number 2, how do you think he stacks up with some of the other guys that Tony Bennett's had?
Yeah, I wasn't born, I think, when Kihei got to Virginia. No, I mean, he's been, on the scene since that national title year and such a key role he played. And he's going to be one of those guys that when his career's over, there's going to be a lot of debate about what he was, right? Because he was never a top scorer. He was never a dominant offensive player. He was never really, in many ways, the focal point of the defense, although I would argue that Tony Bennett has extended the pack further and further each year because he's got Kihei Clark as the spear of that. But Kihei Clark has been the glue and the main guy now for the last 3-4 years after the role he played on the championship team. To me, he's an all-time great at Virginia. He's done it offensively. He's done it defensively. It's what you're going to remember about Kihei Clark is the big shots, the game winners. I don't know how many coaches have come into the post-game interviews this year saying, "I can't believe that guy's still here. I thought we were done with him." And Kihei Clark's legacy is winning basketball games, and I think that's why he's back, and I think that's why this year means so much to him.
He's the Aaron Craft of the ACC, no doubt. Now, for Virginia, their stiffest test of the season is coming up this week against Houston, who's no longer number 1 in the country, but this is still a marquee matchup. What do you expect to happen when it's UVA and UH?
Yeah, it's going to be such a fascinating game because of the way Houston plays, right? They're so dominant on the glass. That's not really a trademark for Virginia. They love to get up and down the floor. That's certainly not the style Virginia wants to play. And we have last year, right? We have last year in our recent memory where Virginia really couldn't hang with them. Now, Beekman's health, right? He suffered the injury. We don't know his status yet. That's going to be a big question. But it's going to be one of those classic games where if Virginia can get Houston to play Tony Bennett basketball, Virginia's going to have a great chance to win this. If Houston gets Virginia playing the way Kelvin Sampson wants and getting up and down the floor, if Houston scores a ton of second chance points, it's a really tough matchup. I think if you're going to this game as media or as a fan, well, maybe as a fan you have a rooting interest, but as media, you're just hoping that there's a little bit of both so that both of these teams can kind of shine and you get a really competitive game. There's going to be a lot of excitement. There was some talk it could be 1 versus 2 if things had gone different way this past week, but 2 versus 5 is still not shabby.
That's must-see TV Saturday, ESPN2. Before we let you go here, Mike, the Virginia men are not the only great basketball story on that campus this year, or on grounds this year, as I should say. Virginia women's basketball, after winning 5 games last year, they've more than doubled that already this season under Coach Mox. What's the secret for the turnaround there?
Yeah, they're playing with a good attitude. They're happy. They're enjoying it. They're running the floor. They're deeper. They've been a great story this year and a little bit of a surprise. They added some transfers, but this is a really strong team and a really fun story. People here in Charlottesville are really starting to embrace Coach Mops and this program.
Great stuff from Mike. Thanks for joining us. Always a blast chopping it up about the Commonwealth. And speaking of great stories in the ACC, how about Syracuse soccer and basketball? A great weekend to be orange. We'll hear from Jim Boeheim next.
I never thought I would experience hearing loss.
And I thought he just stopped listening to me.
But I found something. It's called Power Ear from the good people at Clean Zone.
And now he hears me and the TV and our friends in crowded places.
Power Ear is not a simple sound amplifier. It's a patented state-of-the-art digital hearing aid that I can separately adjust the high and low sounds to customize it to the way that works best for me.
And we didn't need an expensive prescription, a hearing test, or a visit to the audiologist.
We just ordered it directly from Clean Zone. There's no batteries to buy because it's rechargeable. Power Ear helps me live my best life, and it can do the same for you.
You can call or go online to get your Power Ear digital hearing aid for the factory direct price of just $99. And because it's from Clean Zone, it comes with a full 90-day money-back guarantee. There's no prescription needed. Simply call or go online to mypowerear.com to order.
Only 4 teams remained. Soon, they would take part in an epic playoff battle for the right to call themselves national champions.
The game has never been better. That is hockey.
Welcome to the land of the orange, the JMA Wireless Dome.
Throws it, and a touchdown for the orange.
And a lot of talented number 44s. This is Syracuse.
Some people might think I'm crazy to visit in the middle of winter.
But in an area that averages more than 100 inches of snow per year, there's a winter wonderland just waiting to be discovered. I've got 3 days.
You got me hooked.
And 2 nights to do it.
I'm going! Let's go!
3-day weekend, Syracuse with Jess Roy tonight on ACC Network after the Syracuse basketball game against Monmouth. I certainly will be living vicariously through you, Jess, as we watch 3-day weekend. Possibilities, outstanding. Dinosaur barbecue, better than barbecue you'll find down south. Don't tell anyone below the Mason-Dixon line that we said that, but Syracuse 3-day weekend debuts tonight on ACC Network. And it was a great weekend to be in Syracuse, especially if you were at that Cuse-Georgetown basketball game, which got the ABC treatment. And a lot of people were saying, really, this game on ABC? Well, the Orange, they showed up in a big way. They honored Jim Boeheim and the late, great Pearl Washington, putting them in the Ring of Honor at halftime. And it was all Cuse after a 9-0 start for Georgetown. The Orange winning by 19. It's their second largest margin of victory ever in this heated rivalry. Jim Boeheim on going into the new Syracuse Ring of Honor.
You know, I don't think about those things. You know, I didn't want to do it, but, you know, it was just one of those things that had to be done. The way we started, I figured I'd be getting booed at halftime for sure. I figured we'd be down about 20, so it was good that we did make a little comeback there. It would have been embarrassing, but, you know, Pearl's the most exciting player we've ever had. He changed the program. He changed the national emphasis for our program, and he was a great guy to be around. And from the first day I saw him, he was the most exciting player I've ever seen, and he still is. There's a lot of better players, but nobody was as exciting as Pearl Washington was. And I got the opportunity to see him and coach him, and it was a great thrill. Great thrill for me.
Coach, can you touch on the impact the crowd had in this one?
Yeah, they're not, you know, they're sleeping most of the time, but they're trying to wake up. We need to play better. The fans have never understood that we need them when we're not playing good. And that's when they're not making any noise. When we're playing good, we don't need them anymore. We need them when we're struggling. And so, yeah, we need them.
Okay, well, they were certainly cheering when Boeheim went into the Ring of Honor, along with the legendary Pearl Washington. Jim Boeheim with 1,105 wins in his career. Don't listen to the NCAA. And Pearl Washington, the legend. The stats really don't do it justice. He had some iconic moments, especially in that rivalry against Georgetown. Two guys who certainly earned it going into the Syracuse Ring of Honor, which has only been around since 2020. Elsewhere in Syracuse athletics, the men's soccer program still dancing. They are alive on the last day of the college soccer season. They will take on Indiana for a national championship tonight at 6 on ESPNU in Cary, North Carolina. The Orange on the hunt for their first title in program history. Always fun hearing their coach Ian McIntyre talk. Here he is with Alberto Camargo.
That was a fun college soccer semifinal. Creighton are fantastic. They're well coached. They're terrific. And we really, we were probably a little bit fortunate to go in 1-0 at half-time. But second half, I thought we showed when we got knocked down, we bounced back. And so yes, first time for some of our guys, and certainly for our program, first time we'll be in the championship game.
And Coach, I asked Nathan about the connection he's built with Levante over the course of this season. Now both of them are double-digit goals. Could you tell me how confident you feel in that duo heading into the national championship game?
Look, to have two All-Americans playing up front for you, and we've got some depth as well with some young guys with Kaloff, Baselli, Byros. So we've got some quality, but certainly to have that, and that was a big goal. We were on the ropes today for long periods of the game, and for Nate to step up with that second goal, and then, look, we've been scoring late goals all season long, and none bigger than this one.
And what do you think a win in tonight's match and heading into the national championship will take this program heading into the future?
Oh, I don't know about that. I just try to enjoy right now, and then we're going to have some really tired bodies. We're putting back together, and then whoever we face, two wonderful programs. So whoever, if it's Indiana or if it's Pitt, it's going to be another fantastic game on Monday night.
When it comes to men's soccer, the ACC, sorry Bill Walton, is the Conference of Champions. Syracuse can become the 7th program to win a national title in this league, including Clemson with 3, highlighted by last year as the ACC tries to go back-to-back with men's soccer national championships. Now, earlier in the show, we showed you the top 25 in the ACC men's basketball teams who are in the new AP poll. Notably absent was North Carolina, who after going to the national championship last year is now unranked and started the year at number 1 in the country. In fact, they were the first ever preseason number 1 to lose 4 consecutive games. They snapped that skid on Saturday with a 16-point win over Georgia Tech. Armando Bacot returned after a 1-game absence and was his normal dominant self with 21 and 13, his 54th career double-double. Hubert Davis says with Bacot back, Carolina might be back.
We have to be inside out, plain and simple, period, in the end. We can't be outside in. And, we have Armando, we have Pete, and we got to use them. We got to throw the ball down low on the block and let them use their gifts and talents to be able not only to score, but, to open up shots for our guards out on the perimeter and also get us into the penalty because we're a really good free throw shooting team. But I also thought because Armando was posting up so hard and he didn't get the ball, he occupied a defender, and so then Caleb and RJ were able to get to the basket and nobody was there. They were able to get there because of how hard Armando worked down low on the block. And so that goes again, like I said, we had time to practice. And so it's nice to have that time this week to practice and to be able to implement it in a game and for it to look pretty good. That last 3 minutes of the first half, it's the first time that I felt like it looked like Carolina basketball. The way we were defending, the way that we were running, and then that play where RJ had a wide open 3, and we talked about making the extra pass and hit Pete in the corner. I came in at halftime. That's the first thing that I said to the coaching staff. It's the first time I looked at it and I go, man, this looks like Carolina basketball. It was great.
If they're playing Carolina basketball, that's bad news for the rest of the ACC and the rest of the country. And if Armando Bacot is playing like this, look out. Bacot with his 61st career game in double-digit rebounds ties the Kangaroo Kid Billy Cunningham for most in program history. Cunningham with 60 double-doubles, the most for a Tar Heel. Bacot, like I said, has 54. Elsewhere in the ACC, this was a great game in South Beach between Miami and NC State. Wolfpack led by 16 on the road. Hurricanes came all the way back and won 80-73, highlighted by the three-headed monster in the backcourt. Just an awesome backcourt matchup between two really good teams. But Jim Larinaga says it was actually the inside that was the difference for the U.
Well, you know, when you talk about points in the paint, there's a lot of different ways to do it. What NC State was doing was they were posting up DJ Burns. He's a big fella, and he can really score the ball, and he did. At our end, we did it with driving layups. Jordan Miller getting to the rim, Isaiah getting to the rim. And either way, scoring in the paint has to be a part. Can't be all you do. It's got to be a part. That's why we trailed at the half. We were only 1 for 9 from 3. I don't know what we ended up, but we made several really critical three-pointers, especially the first two coming out of the gate in the second half. Nigel made a 3, and then, was it Jordan? Isaiah made, Isaiah made the 3. So when you start clicking, guys start feeling good, and then you give a little bit more attention to your defense.
Coach, your team scored 46 points in the second half, only 34 in the first half. What adjustments did you make offensively at halftime?
We got the ball to the right guy at the right time. You know, Jordan Miller and Isaiah Wong. There's no big secret. We were recognizing, like we ran a play so Jordan could drive at baseline. He did that twice and scored. We run a series of things for Isaiah. And then even Nigel, the reason he made that first 3, that play, was for him. We're trying to get him going. And he's really good at that. So he made the shot that jump-started us.
That backcourt is great. Miami is in the top 25. Two teams not necessarily close to the top 25, Louisville and Florida State, two programs who have lived in the rankings in recent years. Louisville still winless on the season after Florida State put it on them in Tallahassee with a 22-point win over the weekend. For the Seminoles, it's only their second win of the season. But could this spark a turnaround for Leonard Hamilton's team? We'll leave it up to the coach to tell us.
Our effort was good for 40 minutes. We didn't always play as well as I think we're capable of, but our effort and our focus, and, our defensive effort, getting deflections and steals, I thought we were at our best level. Obviously, Naheem blocking 6 shots is something that we have not gotten consistently. But the interesting thing is that he didn't grow any taller. He didn't get stronger or more athletic. But his mindset was at a level that he was consistent with his effort, and I thought that shows that he's trying to give those things that he's capable of giving, which was a factor in this game. You have a guy in there blocking 6 shots, it created a lot of indecision with your opponent. I thought our ball movement was pretty good. The ball did not stick. We had 4 possessions though in the second half where we had no pass shots. And in the first half, I thought we moved the ball, made the extra pass, and created for ball movement. I like to see us drive a little bit more, get into the lane a little bit, but I was pleased with the effort.
And Florida State fans are pleased. By the way, Louisville men still winless. Louisville women got a nice win over Kentucky in the Governor's Cup over the weekend. And speaking of Louisville, Jeff Brom, the new coach for football, will be joining ACC PM today at 4:30. Every weekday, ACC PM starts at 4 o'clock here on ACC Network. Before that, though, we got more to do here on In Play, including going down to Winston-Salem and talking about Steve Forbes and why he has been a magician the last 2 years for Wake Forest. The Portal King lives in the ACC. That's next on In Play.
Why is everyone talking about Navage and nasal irrigation?
I am one who suffers from chronic sinus infection.
You need to clean that crap out of your nose.
Navage is simple. Your nose is the body's air filter, but it's not perfect. Navage is a drug-free way to help flush out allergens, mucus, and germs using powered suction. Join nearly 3 million Navage users so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier.
I love this thing.
It's nice to breathe.
Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
We are all in on the moment. From popping trays in the driveway to getting buckets on the court. The playground of future stars. All in on the crazy. From the nose zone to the Oakland Zoo. Point guard, meet Castle Guard. The old foes and Tobacco Rose. Blue bloods and bad blood. And the devils awaiting their due. All in on the ACC. In the conference that raises and the teams that shape us. We are all in for all time. Come for it all.
Are you being audited and do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Is the IRS threatening to take more of your money? Don't fight the IRS alone. The Tax Doctor is here to help you negotiate your tax bill and reduce your stress. The IRS can freeze your assets and seize your bank accounts, but you can stop these IRS actions. The Tax Doctor will work with you using our years of experience to represent your case to help you get the best resolution under the IRS guidelines. Help is here to deal with the IRS to reduce your stress. We've handled thousands of cases, so we know what we're doing. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, do not call the IRS alone. Call a Tax Doctor now for a tax emergency analysis.
Welcome back to In Play and welcome to DC's Theses. I don't have 95 of these, but every week I'll tell you something that's unequivocally true and perhaps a tad controversial about the ACC. So compared to Martin Luther, not as profound, much more concise, equally significant. I feel like 99% of transfer portal discourse is A, indignant pearl clutching, and B, about football. The guy who's been dubbed the Portal King and posted a Photoshop of his face on Joe Exotic's body is a football coach. But maybe it's time to replace Lane Kiffin's face with one that belongs to an ACC basketball coach. That's right, when Steve Forbes arrived in Winston-Salem, here were the stats for Wake Forest in the previous decade. 0 winning seasons in conference play, 1 NCAA tournament appearance where they lost in the first 4, and 8 sub-500 overall records. In Forbes' first non-COVID season, the Demon Deacons won 25 games. Instant turnarounds like that are common at places like Duke, Carolina, and Kentucky, where 5 stars flock like moths to the light. That's not Wake Forest. Forbes had to get creative and innovative, and he did that by seeing the future of college athletics and riding the cutting edge. What John Calipari is to one and done, Steve Forbes is to the transfer portal. Last year, Wake's 2 best players were a former Indiana State Sycamore, no disrespect, and a guy who didn't start for a 16-11 Oklahoma team. The former, Jake LaRavia, is now a legit contributor for the Memphis Grizzlies as a rookie, and the latter, Alondis Williams, won ACC Player of the Year. Forbes told Matt Norlander of CBS Sports, quote, "Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and I'm not sitting here telling you I broke the code or figured out the enigma. Some of it's luck. There's a gamble with all of them until you get them," end quote. Since the coach won't say it, I will. Steve Forbes might have figured out the enigma. He's done it again this season. Tyree Appleby, a Florida transfer, is leading the league in both scoring and assists. The only ACC player ever to do that for a full regular season, Alondis Williams, last year. Wake Forest already has wins over Georgia and Wisconsin, barely missed one against LSU over the weekend. Thanks to Steve Forbes, there may not be a better place in America to exit the portal than Winston-Salem. Good stuff from Steve Forbes and Wake Forest so far this season. On the football field around the ACC, we've got All-Americans, and a few of them come from our league. First team highlighted by Christopher Dunn, who also won the Groza Award as the best kicker in the country for NC State. Kalijah Cansey, Defensive Player of the Year. In the ACC from Pitt, he's a first-team All-American. Cam Kitchens from Miami, also a first-team All-American. Josh Downs, Jeremiah Trotter, Izzy Abanikanda, Zay Flowers highlight the rest of the All-Americans in the ACC. You might have expected to see Malik Cunningham on that list coming into the season, but after a topsy-turvy season with some injuries, Malik Cunningham has decided to enter the NFL draft and skipped the Fenway Bowl against Cincinnati and against his former coach, Scott Satterfield. Best of luck to Malik Cunningham in the NFL. We certainly enjoyed watching you play at Louisville. And Louisville and Pitt volleyball, speaking of the Cardinals, both reached the semifinals of the NCAA tournament. Congratulations to both those teams. Good luck. Bring one home for the ACC. Thanks for watching In Play. I'm Drew Carter. We will see you next time. Happy holidays and enjoy the rest of your Monday.
And we welcome you to Series.
Hello and welcome to the Moody Center. I'm Lowell Galindo. Texas head coach Chris Beard is suspended without pay as he is facing a third-degree felony charge of assault by strangulation on a family or household member. Beard was arrested early Monday morning after police responded to an urgent disturbance call. When they arrived on the scene, they found a woman who stated that she was assaulted by Chris Beard. Beard was released from the Travis County Jail this afternoon and ordered to stay 200 yards away from the residence where the incident occurred. Texas released a statement at around 5:30 p.m. Central Time stating the university takes matters of interpersonal violence involving members of its community seriously. Given the information available, the university has suspended Chris Beard from his position as head coach of men's basketball and will withhold his pay until further notice. Associate head coach Rodney Terry will serve as acting head coach for tonight's game against Rice. Now joined by my partner, Lance Blanks. And Lance, this news is serious and it's heavy. Everyone here can feel the significance. What's your reaction?
Lowell, as dark, ominous, strange, disappointing a day as I've ever experienced in my life of following UT, being a part of the University of Texas family, and more importantly or specifically the Texas athletic and basketball program. It is extremely heavy and dark, but at the same time, these young men, this is what they're trained to do. Compete under circumstances sometimes that they can't control, that are outside of them. I think they are up for the task, not only as in staff and coaches, but as players, and watching them walk through and the like, not to minimize off the court, but they really have put their energy into what they can focus on and control, and that is what's happening on the court, Lowell.
This is an uncomfortable environment for a game. But the fact that there is a game does not take away from the enormity of the charges of this situation as Rice wins the opening tip. Now, Rice was a lot more open about their reaction to the news, as this is Max Fiedler getting the Owls on the board with their shock, their dismay at hearing the news unfold throughout the course of the day. Texas, on the other hand, did not say anything. There was a behind-the-door meeting with the team as Dylan Dessou shoots from three-point range. Allen with the rebound and the finish. Went outside at the shoot-around where we attended. The head coach, Chris Beard, was not mentioned a single time. They have tried to make this as normal of a game environment for the players as possible. I'm not sure that can be done, Lance. A nice feed inside, the cleanup by Max Fiedler. And the big fella from Florida has two quick buckets for the Rice Owls.
Well, yeah, not to minimize the situation, Lowell, in terms of the weight and the gravity of it. But right now, the focus has to be on the basketball court, which is where as you mentioned, that they tried to put it during shoot-around and otherwise. I talked to Coach Terry multiple times through the day, and he is incredibly excited about the opportunity. He doesn't like the circumstances that it's coming, that it's under, but at the same time, he knows he has a job to do for this program and this university.
And no script on how you handle a situation like this.
Correct.
Nice drive by Quincy Olivari. Olivari, the second leading scorer at 16 points per game. Top three-point shooter, but has been driving to the basket later. And Tyrese Hunter loses the rock. And there is Rodney Terry, acting head coach. Long time with the Texas Longhorns, long-time assistant under Rick Barnes, a decade as a head coach between UTEP and Fresno State, and second year on staff here in Austin.
Well, and I asked him, I said, Rodney, flat out, are you ready for this? He said, Lance, I've coached 319 of these games, college games, as a head coach. This is what my entire career has prepared me to do.
Cameron Sheffield for three, too strong, offensive rebound by Makai Mason.
Hard to manipulate UT's defense and come out alive if you're going to go that deep into the teeth.
Taylor, the kick out. And the three-point knocked down by Olivari. That's what he does best. Reigning Conference USA Player of the Week. He dropped 30 points last Sunday against Texas State. A fifth straight win for the Owls as Marcus Carr responds with his own outside stroke.
Yeah, now Oliveri's shot, it came from Fielder. He is, as his coach puts it, one of the more unique players at the college level because he's so unselfish. He's a conduit. He's a guy who will facilitate the ball there, kind of like a quarterback. He's a little bit like Timmy Allen for Texas with what he can do from that position on the floor.
Marcus Carr cranking up the defensive intensity. Gets a steal. And a foul on Evie.
Well, one of the things that Rice does not want to do is give up easy looks like this, and this just shows you how athletic Hunter is as you see him finish with the little soft dunk, and then you give a little space to Carr. He can knock it down, and the problem is when you close out on him too hard, he's able to put it on the deck and get to the basket.
5 straight wins for Rice. That's thrown away, but out on Mason. They're trying to make it 6 straight for the first time since 04-05. First matchup between the teams since 2014, and there is Scott Pera in his 6th season as a head coach. Timmy Allen, good defense by Fiedler, and the rebound by Travis Evie. He's small, he's explosive, he's quick.
Coach Pera had his guys very loose today. He told me today, he said, I don't have to play, but I want my guys loose, and that's exactly what they were all of shoot-around.
And Mason lost his footing. That's a travel on the freshman from Gilbert, Texas. We go to the break. Rice with the early lead, 9-7, behind a hot start by Max Fiedler.
College basketball on Longhorn Network is presented by Bud Light. It's for the fans. And in part by St. David's Healthcare. The best is here.
Decorative towel.
There was a mess. I wiped up a mess.
Yeah, you...
Welcome back, football fans. We'll see you in the fridge.
What does it take to be the best? Passion, experience, training, lots and lots of training. No shortcuts, stamina and drive. You have to want it more. takes everything. The best is here. Hook 'em horns.
I'm the biggest fan around.
The face paint.
The finger.
The team toll tag on my ride. Rep my team, save on tolls.
My new tattoo.
You paid for that?
Show your Longhorn pride.
Got the keys to one rocket. Are you ready? Let's play. Are you ready? Let's play. Are you ready? Let's play.
The Dealey Center for New Media was built to help students thrive in an ever-changing media landscape. One example of that change? A full-scale audio production program within the School of Journalism called The Drag.
I offer students the best college job they could possibly find because they get to come here, make podcasts. We have, at any one time, somewhere between 10 and 15 student employees working for us that get paid for it on a flexible schedule with some of the coolest people on campus. Yeah, it's the dream.
This is something that is being produced for the people, and people will listen.
We have students who are going to build things that are going to be heard by countless people that are going to propel their careers. And I think this sets them up for success.
You're watching Texas basketball presented by Bud Light. Inside the Moody Center where Rice has the early 9-7 lead over Texas. The Longhorns playing without their head coach, Chris Beard. He has been suspended without pay by the university following felony domestic assault charge. Rodney Terry, the acting head coach. And Lance, we saw it shoot around. Texas staff was almost eerie because they tried to make it seem like nothing was going on for the benefit of the players and the focus on what they had to do tonight. But it was a situation unlike anything we've seen before.
Yeah, you could feel the energy of the weight of the day. And, you know, the other thing is, Lowell, I think the activeness, if you will, of the situation gave them a little bit of a pause to put their energy into what they're used to and what they can control. Rodney made a great point, and he said, hey, we're just trying to stay as close to our routine as possible. And I thought that they did a good job of that, looking at them through shooting.
And the information throughout the day was unfolding while they were in team activities. So obviously not contact with Coach Beard. And it's been up to Rodney Terry to get this team in the right frame of mind to go out and focus on this game. It's a dangerous Rice team that's 6-2. Rice really hasn't been tested yet with a light schedule, but it is a team with confidence. With 5 straight. Nice feed by Fiedler. And that's going to be a foul on Christian Bishop, who's coming off a couple of really good games. Last time out was 16 points against Arkansas Pine Bluff. Rice, with that 5-game winning streak, Scott Parra really feels like this team is starting to turn a corner. Quincy Olivari, Conference USA Player of the Week. And so far, he's got 5. Fiedler's got 4, so that's all 9 points by the Rice Owls. This is a team, Lance, that will open it up. Very open with their offense. They're not afraid to take that outside shot. Like Evie, case in point, a little too much.
Yeah, and Coach Parra has some history. He's one of the greatest scorers of all time. Harden, NBA player for Philadelphia. So he brings that spirit here, and to your point, allows extremely deep shots. They'll shoot a lot of threes in context, and I thought he made a great point today when he said right people, right shots.
Yeah,
was one of the keys to the game that he thought. And I think that's a great way to sum it up, and he'll live with the results.
Evie and Olivari, the guys get those shots. They are the right guys, if you will. Here's Rice, a little step back, Harden-esque, if you will, and leaves it short.
Yeah, and another benchmark that they can check off is, I mean, the guys said this talking on the day, they wanted to get to the first timeout close enough, and they did that.
Oh, nice move by Fiedler. You can see the array of moves A depth move with the shot. And a hustle play by Sheffield to keep it alive, and he does. That's off Texas. It will be Rice basketball.
Well, Fiedler unable to finish here, but stayed with it. I thought the fact that Bishop was unable to get it to the right person, and then, of course, the hustle. Look at this diving on the floor. This is why you go hard after 50-50 balls.
And Sheffield starting to call him Draymond because of all the ways he impacts the game without scoring. And that's another foul on Christian Bishop. 2 quick ones for him. He will head to the bench. Dessou will return.
Yeah, the guard there did a good job of driving right at the feet of the big. Bishop's got to space him a little bit and use his length for potential shot and or closeout. A lot of times college guys don't measure how close or far they should be from someone, and offensively you can take advantage of it long.
Fiedler. There it is, the low post moves, a little old school, even though he says he's modeled his games after LeBron James, LB.
Yeah, the passing part, for sure.
Here's Dylan Mitchell. Nice touch through the cylinder and good. And we haven't seen that too much. No, that's part of the developing game we got into last time.
Yes, exactly right. And he loves operating, he being Mitchell, around that dunker position. And if he can post just off of the box right there and finish with his back to the basket, that's a whole new dimension.
Defensive intensity. Sheffield turns it over. Beatty pass to Dessou. Fiedler knocks it away, and it's going to be off the Longhorns.
You know what Fiedler has?
The ability to impact the game.
Soft hands. Look at those hands. He's got some soft hands. It's a little unorthodox, which makes him difficult to guard. But watch this. To get that ball and not foul, he got good fortune there because it went off of Dessou. This is a fine ball player, Fiedler.
Yeah, Para says that he is the key to the game because he is so unorthodox, and it's tough to prepare for a guy that does so much. He's active on the glass as well. That's into the hands of Arterio Morris. Now, let's keep in mind, Texas coming off an 88-43 win against Arkansas Pine Bluff. Arkansas Pine Bluff started the game off hot offensively, but then simply ran out of gas. It's not a deep Rice team either. They do have more talent, though, than the Golden Lions.
Yeah, and they play a little bit different, or differently. Rice does. And so I think also Fiedler gives them a totally different look, especially with the 2 guards out front. So I don't see this team being worn down. The other thing is they've had about 8 days off.
Finals, man.
Exactly. Rice, not easy.
Monday through Friday were finals. School policy did not have any athletic competitions during that time. Carr with the drive, gets the whistle. Basket will not count.
You like putting their actions where their words are, don't you?
Yeah.
You like that with education really being a top priority. No games and sports activities during those finals. You got to appreciate it.
And it's tough. It's a tough environment. Called the Ivy League of Texas, you know?
In a beautiful area of Houston, West University.
Nice feed to Dylan Mitchell.
Rice Village.
Yup. Foul. That's going to be against Liepert. And Liepert now with 3 fouls, so he's got to go to the bench.
Well, I thought Liepert was guarding Carr a little too close a moment ago, particularly coming off that screen. I said it a moment ago, and I'll say it again. You've got to space guys appropriately.
All the bounces for Dylan Mitchell. All of them. In every part of the cylinder.
Showing the touch.
1 of 4 from the stripe. Last time out, sub 40% from the line this season. As Texas has struggled from the charity stripe. They were so good in Big 12 play there last season. Entering this game at 67%.
Certainly a point of emphasis and something that Texas works on.
Getting to the line has been also a big key. You get more free throws. They feel like if they could have got to the double bonus late against Illinois, Hunter missed the front end of a one-on-one, that could have been the difference in the game. Another chance for Hunter to hit a second free throw. Deep shot. Too much by Oliveri. Fiedler fighting for it, and he's pushed.
Just being at the right place at the right time. Vucinovic does a great job there, though, from behind Rice. He just tipped that ball. And Fiedler has already shown what those hands are like. So anything in his area, he's either going to be able to catch it or keep it alive.
Plenty of time here for Oliveri. Set up the offense. Drive on Mitchell. Open for Sheffield in the corner, and Sheffield does not get it. Texas looking for the lead. Card and Mitchell. Working on Sari Lewis. Back to Rice. Mitchell inside the pull-up. And the rebound by the Owls.
Rice has done a very good job, and they talked about it in their shoot-around, making sure you just stay between the basket and your man and not over-pressuring Texas. You saw it there. And it forced Texas trying to make shots over the top.
And there's the outside shot by Alam Vucinovic. Transfer from Nevada. It's a three-point lead for the Rice Owls. Looks like a confident bunch. Coaching staff did talk to them about playing in front of 6,000 plus here at Moody Center. That would be a difference, but it seemed like the guys were energized by knowing that. Late shot clock. Card in trouble to step back. This is ugly. And that's the type of possession that the Texas staff was unhappy with late in the loss against Illinois.
Yeah, then you run a lot of clock, and part of that is the defense, and then get that shot. You get that anytime.
Back. Vucinovic. And a timeout for the Longhorns as the Owls, with a 17-11 lead, and the outside shot is falling. 3 of them for the Owls.
Next season on Fansville, presented by Dr. Pepper.
A Category 5 wave has broken containment from the stadium and is heading straight for Fansville.
A tsunami wave?
No. Something is coming.
Oh no, it's the wave. I refuse to participate in this.
The wave? What is this, the 80s?
Next season,
Make sure there's Dr. Pepper in there!
prepare to cheer. Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve.
It starts here, in this field, this lab, this classroom, and this town. The University of Texas at Austin is unleashing knowledge and opportunity. We're drawing on our roots and looking to the future, becoming the world's highest impact public research university. Because what starts here changes the world.
A lover of math, she graduated from McCombs in 1937 with the highest honors, one of the first women to do so. During a successful career with the Texas Workforce Commission, her activism blossomed as she fought for causes such as civil rights and equal pay. In 1980, she became the first woman in Texas to win a lawsuit for sex discrimination.
You gotta give a damn about something. You don't win them all, but things might be worse if you hadn't tried.
Shooty Fath, she's a Longhorn legend.
The Dealey Center for New Media was built to help students thrive in an ever-changing media landscape. One example of that change? A full-scale audio production program within the School of Journalism called The Drag.
I offer students the best college job they could possibly find because they get to come here, make podcasts. We have, at any one time, somewhere between 10 and 15 student employees working for us that get paid for it on a flexible schedule with some of the coolest people on campus. Yeah, it's the dream.
This is something that is being produced for the people, and people will listen.
We have students who are going to build things that are going to be heard by countless people, that are going to propel their careers. And I think this sets them up for success.
Only 4 teams remained. Soon, they would take part in an epic playoff battle for the right to call themselves national champions.
Welcome back to the Moody Center, where a young man, the last name Husinovich, has turned this building, or the floor, I should say, into a pool hall, and namely the corner pocket. That's the left corner, and he penalized Texas for not closing out. Oh, Morris, freshman, what are you doing, man? You're not going to close out again? The other corner pocket, the threes created the timeout, which created the 6-point lead, Lowell. Don't adjust your phone or your TV. What are you watching? Your cable?
Whatever you want.
The Rice Owls have taken a little bit of a commanding lead here.
Husinovich was a bit player in a couple seasons at Nevada. He's really found his role here for Scott Perry and the Rice Owls. There's Brock Cunningham coming off a career performance where he was not missing from outside. Last time out, a career high 13 points against Pine Bluff. So Rice talked a lot about surviving the initial wave against Texas. They are thriving, not surviving. Lewis, contested shot. Allen and Mitchell were there. Longhorns looking for a run, something to get back momentum. On a difficult day, this veteran team. And Allen will go to the line, drawing a foul on Husinovich.
Well, and Allen went a little bit back to the old Allen, I thought. A lot of times when he's in isolation like that, he's better when he's just playing as a facilitator. It was clear he was going to try to score over Husinovich there on that little crab dribble back down. I think the later version, or the latter version of this young man, Allen, as you see there with the graphic, 21 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds. That's where things started to trend in the right direction. I thought they continued low in the Pine Bluff game, but that to me is a little bit more of the old or the early season version of Timmy Allen.
Yeah, he's known as a distributor, and we've talked a lot about it with Tyrese Hunter coming on to be the primary ball handler with Carr as well. It pushed Allen out of that point forward role that he really thrived in the season ago. He misses both free throws. He went 0 for 2 from the line this weekend as well. 9 assists, 1 turnover in that win against Arkansas Pine Bluff. I'm with you. He's at his best when he's setting up teammates. Trap on Evie. Skip pass. And the 3 is knocked down by Olivari. He's got 8 points. 2 of 3 from outside. And the Owls with a 9-zip run. Allen almost walked. And no. Offensive foul on Timmy Allen.
Well, and on cue, Allen follows up what we talked about. This is an area where he was struggling early in the season, where he was running over people, charging a bit too much. Right now, he's committed to go to the basket and try to score. I thought that was well played by Sheffield, just stepping away from the basket. And you got to go at what I call maneuverable pace when you're going downhill like that, Lowell.
It's almost like the team needed the reminder that they got before Pine Bluff. The ball cannot stick. And what did we see with the ball movement on Saturday?
Yep.
It was moving.
Yeah, the other thing is everything's a little bit soft for Texas on this end of the floor. Passes are easy. Even the trap is a soft trap. See how the ball's moving around without as many deflections or people in other people's faces. Texas is going to have to tighten things up against a very good Rice Owl basketball team.
Fiedler and Sheffield keeps it alive. Sheffield has turned the corner the last 3 games. His rebounding has started to skyrocket. Fiedler with a double team. Back out to Evie. Evie from outside, no. And an aggressive rebound attempt by Dessou. He goes down hard. Allen keeps it alive. Here come the Longhorns. Hard work in the screen. The cut by Allen, and Allen draws the foul.
The other thing that Texas will need, even on the floor as they huddle after the foul, is they're going to need to get easy opportunities offensively. And we talked about it early in the season where one of their staples this year was going to be running the floor, pushing the pace. That's something where they've excelled in this year, is pushing that pace and putting pressure on the defense. So far, Rice has really been a beneficiary to Texas being a little more methodical than they typically are on the offensive end of the floor.
And let's also point out the obvious. The players and coaches here can tell us all they want, that this is just another game. They're focused on the game at hand. Think about what these Texas players are going through with the uncertainty with their head coach and those assault charges against him. That's a violation. That could be a turnover. What Rodney Terry needs is a spark to his Texas team. You got to understand that has to be a factor in a sluggish start by the Longhorns.
Yes, it does. Hunter doing a great job of applying enough pressure to the veteran Evie, who fell asleep at the wheel, didn't get the ball across in time.
Nice feed to Dylan Dessou, and Dessou knocks over Sheffield. Dessou is going to win that battle. So second foul on Sheffield. Dessou was a guy that I really thought we'd start seeing more offensively from at this point in the year.
Well, he had some moments, and one of the ones where he really came alive was the Gregory game.
Yeah.
And I thought the tweak of the leg injury might have slowed him down a little bit, because sometimes you can have a season where you have a big play or a big moment or a big half that can really change the trajectory of things, as we saw, for example, with Timmy Allen against Illinois. But perhaps the slight injury in the game caused him to have to reboot and find that rhythm that he hasn't been able to find thus far, Lowell.
Because we hear it all the time with injuries like that he suffered while at Vanderbilt. The mental part of that is so difficult. That could be the biggest hurdle. And once Dessou got that confidence back, he did look like a different dude at the beginning of the year, showing some of that upside we saw when he was a top rebounder in the SEC.
Yep.
Defense intensity cranking up. Is that shot effective? Hunter back to Core for three. Core got the three.
Well, and that's the speed we're talking about. You saw how quickly they get the stop, the rebound, push it up, and then the 1-2 punch of Hunter finds his guy driving the car. And look at that. Splash! Rice. I'll have to figure out how to stop this momentum.
This isn't just any burger run. This is a burger run for Whataburger's sweet and spicy bacon burger. 2 fresh all-beef patties with melty cheese, grilled onions, crispy bacon, and sweet and spicy pepper sauce. 1 for you, 1 for him, and 1 for your unofficial roommate, Brad. Always order an extra. You know, for Brad. The all-time favorite sweet and spicy bacon burger from Whataburger. Just like you like it.
After earning a degree in aerospace engineering, she joined the U.S. Air Force in 1992. When the military ended restrictions on women flying in combat, she became the first to take advantage.
And I said, well, I don't want the attention, but I want to fly fighters more than anything.
With over 3,000 flight hours, she became a brigadier general and the first woman to command the 57th Wing of the Air Force. Jeannie Leavitt. She's a Longhorn legend.
For years, the debate has raged on whether or not college athletes should get a cut of the billion-dollar industry they helped to create. The summer of 2021 saw the beginnings of a resolution.
There is breaking news from the NCAA late today, a game changer really for student athletes.
Breaking a tradition that's lasted more than a century, voting unanimously to permit students participating in athletics to benefit from their name, image, and likeness.
When this game is making all this money, why shouldn't the players? Last I checked, we're in America. And so it's never felt right for me, but it does now.
But how will NIL affect the lives of athletes here on the 40 acres?
Thank you. Thank you. I got to practice. Order on the app. They don't got to wait in this line.
It's not just for certain sports, right? It's not just for your footballs or your basketballs. Every single student athlete has an opportunity to create opportunities for name, image, and likeness for themselves.
Jenna Gabriel with the stuff.
Hey y'all, so excited to be part of the Degree Breaking Limits team.
Hi guys, I'm so excited to be on Cameo. I'm going to use this as a chance to get to know you guys and to connect with you.
I think the goal is to position students to have a very good case to be a new hire at a pro sports team, a major media network that's interested in the sports business.
Welcome back to the Moody Center in Austin, Texas, where the Rice Owls have a 3-point lead over the Texas Longhorns. Why? Well, this team likes to shoot about 48% of their shots from beyond the arc, and this is why. They can knock them down. There you see 2 corner pocket shots, and then Evie finds his buddy Quincy, number 4 there, who's about 3 feet from beyond the arc. He knocks one down. Texas has seemed to figure it out here. They have a little bit of momentum going themselves. Texas does. If they're going to come out of this building victorious tonight, they're going to have to get the 3 ball that Rice has been so willing to shoot low under control. Can't give them those clean looks. They're extremely dangerous.
Well, the guys from Rice say the toughest week of the year is the week before finals.
Yep.
I would imagine this is the best time of the year, the week after you have those finals done. And so
that's a good call.
Rice playing free and relaxed. They were very much that in the walkthrough shoot around today. Here's the drive back to Fiedler, who was fantastic from the jump. Husejnovic, mid-range touch, and it's good. Texas has not led in this game. Rice extends the lead to 22-17. That bucket by Carr, however, did snap a 6-minute scoring drought by the Longhorns. Allen gets his own shot. And Timmy Allen now has 5 points.
Yeah, and Coach Parrott talked about Fiedler and how critical he was to any success they would have tonight. You're seeing it. He's almost like Wayne Gretzky as a hockey player. He knows where people are going to be. He likes LeBron. Look at that pass.
Yes, that was money, but a hard foul. Husejnovic. And Allen's fired up. So no foul. That ball was denied here by Allen. The rejection. It's a heck of a play by Timmy Allen.
A great recovery, and then the fact that he's able to get back in that play, that was extremely well done on the defensive side of things.
Late shot clock. Not sure Rice realizes it.
Well, Fiedler
doesn't know the clock situation from nearly half court. Mason didn't even get it off in time. But earmark that play. The recovery by Timmy Allen, getting the crowd into the game, and then the shot clock violation.
Well, and that's a surprise, especially with Rice's essentially their 3 best players on the floor. Evie, obviously the point guard, Quincy number 4, usually plays the wing, and Fiedler, uncharacteristic late clock situation for them.
Allen is determined to find his shot, and it's working with back-to-back buckets. He wants to take this game over.
He wants to. He has on the offensive end. He's really made it about himself and carrying his team.
Hunter on Evie, gives it up to Mason. The spin, switches hands, and one. What a bucket by Makai Mason.
Yeah, that was just 4. Sometimes you know what the defense is going to do, and the offense knows, or I'm sorry, the defense knows the offense is going to do, and vice versa. This was that. This is me against you in the middle of the floor, and I'm going to make sure my offense is better than your defense. And then on the other end, Allen's just willing himself to get to his spot.
It's almost like he's saying, well, someone has to get us going.
Absolutely.
And maybe doing a little bit more than what he typically does when he's at his best. But in this situation, you need somebody to make something happen. The foul, by the way, was on to Sue. His first. Under 6 minutes to play here in the first half. Allen with back-to-back buckets. Sets up Rice, and Husejnovic was not fighting on that pump fake, and it leads to a travel. So he did his scouting report.
Yeah, he did. That was well done defensively. Rice has got to be better than that. He knows that. But how about Coach Terry? I really like his poise over there, Lowell, and the way he's conducted himself and handled some of the early adversity with this ball club. There is no emotion of panic coming from Coach Terry.
Evie, long two, got it. And Rodney Terry, the acting head coach, as about 90 minutes before the start of this game, Texas released a statement saying that Chris Beard has been suspended without pay after he was arrested and charged with felony domestic violence. To give the car, long two, rattles out. A solid rebound there by Olivari.
Well, you mentioned the rebound. That's the other area that they thought Rice needed to be successful, come out victorious, and that is on rebounding the ball, because Texas does such a great job on the offensive boards.
Fiedler looking like Walton. How did he thread the needle there? Looking for the offensive rebound, and there's a foul. And that is going to go against Dylan DeSue, his second.
Wow, what an incredible pass. Did you see him thread that through two defenders from really about 25, 26 feet away? Incredible.
Hype is real with him.
Hype is, and he's a little bit like a big point guard, directing people constantly.
Out of control. Evie. And that ball was tipped, so no violation. No, but on the far side, they are saying backcourt violation.
Yeah, but Texas touched it, so I think this ball will go back to Rice because Texas touched that ball.
So one official closest to us said it was tipped.
Yeah, there you go, off the foot there. But they're going to look at this because the last person to touch it looked like Evie.
And we'll not take a look. Rice basketball, 10 on the shot clock. They got to keep it. Paying attention to that.
Great defense.
Here's Mason. And this is everything. Cunningham with the rebound.
Wow.
And a foul on
I hope
Mason.
we get to see that again. Did you see Hunter there? Low, he stopped the penetration and made the closeout for the air ball. He was literally like a one-ball wrecking crew in the defense. Look at him here. He's staying in front of the defense, and then look, he just says, I'll take this on my own hands, and I'll close out on the shot. And you all just get the rebound for me. I got everything else on the perimeter. Incredibly impressive defensive possession. And by the way, guys, great work with your camera work and in the truck there, isolating that.
More issues on the free throw line. Cunningham comes up with a board. Rice for three, too much. Cunningham tries to keep it alive. Rice into the expensive seats nearly.
Yeah, that to me looked like Cunningham tipped that too hard.
A quick throw in, and they're saying, hold on. I don't think anything was set up there, ready for play.
Look at Coach Barrett. He's like, what? He said, wait a minute now. Don't give the defense a chance to set up. This is part of our arsenal. I get it, Coach.
They gave the ball to Mekhi Mason. He was like, okay, let's play.
Exactly.
A little too quick. Olivari, three. Whoa, the high archer. And the Owls consistently hitting now from outside. Carr, he lost it. And that is going to be Rice basketball. Turnover number 6 for the Longhorns here. An 8-zip run by the Owls.
Well, and Rice is really in fuego. Caliente, they are hot. Low. Texas has to do a better job or they're going to pay dearly.
Only 4 teams remained. Soon, they would take part in an epic playoff battle for the right to call themselves national champions.
Are you ready? Let's play. Are you ready? Let's play. Are you ready? Let's play. Don't remind me. I'm minding my own damn business. Don't try to find me. Find somebody else. It could be anyone else out there. No friends. I don't ever want to see you and I never want to miss you again. One thing. When you're angry, you're a jerk and then you treat me like a witness.
Decorative towel.
There was a mess. I wiped up a mess.
Yeah, you...
Where is the Never mind, I found it!
Welcome back, football fans. We'll see you in the fridge.
It starts here, in this field, this lab, this classroom, and this town. The University of Texas at Austin is unleashing knowledge and opportunity. We're drawing on our roots and looking to the future, becoming the world's highest impact public research university. Because what starts here changes the world.
First matchup between Texas and Rice since 2014. And the Rice Owls with a 30-21 lead here in Austin. Got a basketball doubleheader coming off on December 21st. Got the Texas women against Houston Christian, 2 p.m. Central Time on LHN and the ESPN app. And the men will follow against Louisiana, 7 Central Time, also right here on LHN. So the Rice Owls, they are an outside shooting team. Came in with confidence that they can keep it going. And against an elite three-point defense, they are 5 of 12. That 27% mark for the three-point defense, that is number 15 nationally coming into this game.
The beauty of it for Texas is they've got a lot of time, Lo, to correct it. I think part of the issue is Texas is a little late on closeouts. You've got to stay attached pretty much to everybody on this roster for Rice. They're about 35% collectively as a team. But they shoot about half of their shots from beyond the arc.
Hunter. Mason, a good matchup. Corner 3. That one is left short. Who's this going to be off? That's going to be Rice basketball.
Yeah, that's just focus. That's just poor focus by Texas. 2 of their most athletic players there. You don't come up with the rebound.
Rice out rebounding Texas 19-8.
Correct. Yep, and that's one of the keys in 8-2. In the offensive rebound category.
Evie forced that shot. Dylan Mitchell with the rebound. Yeah, competing on the offensive glass, limiting Texas there. A lob and the drop in by Mitchell. Texas trying to get back into this one. Now down by 7, 3 minutes to go here in the first half. Fiedler and Cunningham, good matchup here. And that is off the fingertips of Olivari, and it will stay with the Rice Owls. As if it was batted away.
Well, nice job by Carr. He comes off just kind of like a slow drag. And if he doesn't have pressure on him, Carr, he can make that pass all day long. Those Texas athletes on the backside of the defense around the rim. Well executed.
It's like Mitchell is starting to give Fiedler more problems with his athleticism. Oh, tough landing. Can see that developing. Fiedler looks like he is okay.
Wow.
Gets up, Hunter through traffic, and draws the foul. That was a scary moment.
And that was a precedent set by the officials that we're going to have you guys play it out. I thought there might be a little bit of a foul there by Rice for backing up under him. But how about the toughness and resilience of Fiedler just to get up, continue to play on, in spite of ending up on his backside that hard, Lowell.
Yeah, that right elbow did not look good coming down. Fortunate. Looks like everybody is good. Staying in the game as Tyrese Hunter goes to the line. Leaves it short. What is it with the free throw shooting? They put so much stock into it. They stop practices, having individual shoot free throws to simulate the pressure of the game with everybody doing push-ups if they don't make it. Why is it not clicking?
Well, it's just not easy to simulate in a practice setting. I mean, to create the factors that are at play, like in a game like tonight, essentially is virtually impossible. That's not to give an excuse, because there's a guys that should be able to step up and knock down 2 free throws.
That's an 86% free throw shooter. Another and one, and Quincy Olivari. He's showing the moves that made him the Conference USA Player of the Week and a preseason conference pick.
Well, right now, in this play really shows that Rice is the more aggressive team. Texas is usually the aggressor, particularly on the defensive end of the floor. And how many times have we seen this, Lowell, where one of the guys, either from the wing or the corner for Rice, is making a dive cut to the basket, and Fiedler is just threading the needle on a bounce pass. At some point, Texas is going to have to figure out the proper guard for that action. Well, this could be to their detriment if they extend the lead. Rice does up to 10.
Largest lead for the Owls here tonight.
And dare I say, the largest lead against the Longhorns at home this year.
Most shocking number is the discrepancy on the glass, being out-rebounded by 10. And it seems like the shots are forced. The ball is sticking. And Timmy Allen has been able to get away with it a couple of times, but they're not sustaining any rhythm there. Meanwhile, Rice is getting to the paint. That's setting up the outside shots as well. That was a good look from Evie. Could not finish. Carr, the quick pull, short. Cunningham, offensive rebound. Rice thought about it, got Evie on the pump fake. Mitchell, awkward finish, got it to go. There's another point-blank bucket by Dylan Mitchell. He leads the Longhorns with 8 points.
When you mention Rice getting into the paint, one of the reasons is the spacing. Look how spaced they are. Look how open that lane is. That means the guy who's guarding the ball has to really do his due diligence and lock down.
Whoa! Mitchell, and that's going to be a foul on Fiedler.
Did he call it a flagrant? Nope, he did not.
So it's number 1 on Fiedler, and he thought he had a hit man there.
Yeah, he did. So it'll be two in the ball. Fiedler should have made that look more like a basketball play.
Let's take another look here, Lance.
Was the right thought. And if this were at the next level, that would have been a take foul, which is something the NBA has recently introduced. In college, you get 2 and the ball back. That's good fortune there for Texas as they try to chip away at this lead. Lowell, as the end of the first half closes in.
1:12 to go. Opportunity to cut the deficit. Cunningham fouled quickly after that feed from Mitchell. And that's Kusinovich's second foul. He's got 8 points, 2 fouls. Cunningham now an opportunity at the line. Texas is 7 of 13. First one is good. Texas has not led in this game. Longhorns dropping to number 7 in the latest AP Top 25. They were up to number 2. Now the overtime loss against Illinois at Madison Square Garden. Then beat Arkansas Pine Bluff.
When Texas changes the defense here, they're going to apply a little bit of pressure into the backcourt, getting the ball out of Evie. I think that benefits Texas, putting the ball in someone else's hands.
Crowd as loud as it's been tonight. The pull-up, no good by Olivari. Rice off the screen by Cunningham. Shot fake, no. Cunningham can't get it. Fiedler with a rebound.
Rice looked like he wants to get fouled versus going to finish. It's a good pump fake, which he's so good at. He's got to take that up strong, regardless of where the defense is, and go for the finish, regardless if he gets fouled.
13 on the shot clock. Olivari trying to beat Cunningham. Double team comes. Cunningham got it away, and it's a travel. And Cunningham flexes. He made that happen.
Well, Texas certainly has turned up the defensive intensity. Great help there by Rice. He should have stayed on his feet, but he comes up and Rice travels.
So Rodney Terry, acting head coach. Chris Beard suspended without pay after a felony charge of domestic assault. The Longhorns started sluggish, understandably, and that ball is thrown away as Hunter was trying to set up Mitchell. Before the buzzer, good if it goes, it does not. And the Longhorns with the lowest scoring first half this season. What are you seeing, Lance?
Well, I see a team that has been out of kilter, particularly on the defensive end low for most of the half, and even more specifically than that, around guarding the three-point arc. They are late on most shots with a team that takes about 50% of their shots from beyond the arc. They're going to have to correct it or it's going to be big trouble in the second half, Lowell.
Rice 5 of 13 from outside. Meanwhile, Texas struggling from the charity stripe, and that is a difference. The Owls with the lead, 33-29 from here in Austin.
The University of Texas Golf Club, your home in the Hill Country. It's a member experience as big as Texas. Major champions, tour pros, and you can stroll the 18 holes. Play the Spieth Lower 40, a fun 6-hole short course. Hit the courts in the biggest indoor tennis facility in Austin. Host your next event in our pavilion or clubhouse. The next time you're in Austin, stay and play in our casitas. The University of Texas Golf Club was founded by Longhorns for Longhorns.
His first job as a journalist was at the Daily Texan. He was a correspondent during World War II. And by 1962, he was anchoring the evening news and was there for some of our lowest moments.
President Kennedy is dead.
And our greatest achievements.
Man on the moon.
For 20 years, a nation of viewers invited him into their homes as he earned the ultimate reward for a journalist, trust.
And that's the way it is.
Walter Cronkite. He's a Longhorn legend.
The Dealey Center for New Media was built to help students thrive in an ever-changing media landscape. One example of that change? A full-scale audio production program within the School of Journalism called The Drag.
I offer students the best college job they could possibly find because they get to come here, make podcasts. We have, at any one time, somewhere between 10 and 15 student employees working for us that get paid for it on a flexible schedule with some of the coolest people on campus. Yeah, it's the dream.
This is something that is being produced for the people, and people will listen.
We have students who are going to build things that are going to be heard by countless people that are going to propel their careers. And I think this sets them up for success.
It's halftime inside Moody Center between Texas and Rice. Watching the Longhorns, it's clear they have a new leader in the backcourt, Iowa State transfer, Tyrese Hunter.
Tyrese is a guy, he's a dog.
Tyrese is the fastest point guard I've ever been around. Tyrese is a freak athlete. He's different.
Tyrese Hunter was the big get in the offseason.
Hunter, the sophomore, Iowa State transfer, Big 12 freshman of the year last year.
One of the best defensive guards of college basketball.
When I first went into the portal for me to transfer, my first question to myself was like conference play, where I want to play. And I felt like the Big 12 was honestly the best conference around. And it was big for me because just knowing the impact that I had on the conference last year, winning freshman of the year, and being comfortable kind of with the conference last year, knowing that if I get a reshot at it this year, I can know what I'm expecting and how I can play into it. Me coming to Texas was really just a big move for my future and development of myself. I feel like I'm around a lot of genuine people, a lot of people that actually care, a lot of people that, want to see you succeed every day, and that was like a big part of my decision. Once he came on his visit, he saw our culture, he saw how we work, and our relationship and us being able to play together was a big factor. So kind of just letting him know that I'm embracing him with open arms. If he chose to come here and us playing together would be a good thing for the both of us. Me and him talked a lot, and that was like a big key relationship that I wanted to have, just knowing that we was going to be on the court together and I was going to win it all. That was like the motivating pitch, but he was just showing me ways that we can and just telling me how we can factor our games off each other. And when we broke it down, it was like a puzzle fit another puzzle. Iron sharpens iron, so I know every day going up against him, we're going to make each other better. And then when we're playing together, I feel like it's going to make us so dynamic as a team.
The backcourt of Hunter and Carr really fit well together.
Hunter from Carr.
Good! Hunter, another one!
Hunter slices inside, puts it in.
This kid is a junkyard dog.
Tyrese is a bulldog on both sides of the ball. Elite passer, can create for others as well as himself.
Tyrese Hunter is the ultimate competitor. He's going to play defense, going to pick you up 94 feet.
Tyrese, just a defensive dog. He's ready to get a stop, and also he's a great leader too. So just being around a great point guard and just always have that winner mentality.
I'll make sure everybody's pumped up for the game and just having that mindset of we've been working for this, and that'll come from me a lot, just having that leadership. And I love defense and be a defensive pest on the court. I want to win defensive awards, be on the all-defensive team, and my goal is really to win Defensive Player of the Year. I want to be one of the best point guards in college basketball this year.
More from the Moody Center coming up. Halftime between Texas and Rice.
When you buy a home at Kissing Tree, the good times start as soon as you sign your contract. Explore our amazing property. Try a new workout, or just get to know the neighbors. Whether you're building or choosing an inventory home, you can unlock the fun of our 55-plus community before you ever unlock your new front door. Call today to learn about big savings on select homes and home sites.
Dad, tell me again why we're decorating a tractor.
Somebody might want one for Christmas.
Why would anybody want a tractor for Christmas?
Are you kidding? This is the Kubota L2501 compact tractor. It can lift things with a bucket, mow a pasture, plant a garden, all kinds of cool stuff. Even Jacqueline might want one.
Why would I want an L2501?
So you can drive it to school.
Dad.
I hope I get one for Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Hi, I'm Stevie Lee, former defensive tackle for the University of Texas.
And I'm Clyde Hargrove. I'm a roofer.
I also saw action in 52 games.
And I fix a lot of roofs.
Also won a Rose Bowl and never lost to A&M.
And I fix a lot of roofs, right, Stevie?
Oh, right. I'm sorry, I zoned out a little bit.
So are you going to say that thing about Hargrove Roofing?
Hargrove Roofing. Know who's on your roof.
Is this Even going to work as a commercial?
Old Trapper Beefs. Fake protein.
Guys, can we take a quick protein break? Protein City. I got my beans, my bars, my goos, my glumps, my fizz. I don't know what that one is, but you want in?
I'm good, man.
I think Goop was a bad choice.
Old Trapper, what's your beef?
It starts here, in this field, this lab, this classroom, and this town. The University of Texas at Austin is unleashing knowledge and opportunity. We're drawing on our roots and looking to the future, becoming the world's highest impact public research university. Because what starts here changes the world.
Halftime here in Austin between Texas and Rice. Coming up next, the Longhorns will travel to the American Airlines Center in Dallas to play Stanford on December 18th in the Coast to Coast Challenge.
Going home to play in American Airlines Center, it'll be good because I know a lot of my family is just waiting on the season. Like, I get text messages from them every day. Like, man, I can't wait till you come to Dallas to play in Dallas. So I know it's going to be very hype.
I think that game would be pretty fun to play Stanford. They're a really good team. We'll kind of be seasoned by then, so it'd be exciting to see where we are at that point.
We played them last year in Vegas, and it went well. We had a good game and won, so I think that we can look back at that game, see what we did well.
That's why you come to Texas, playing the best teams in the country at the best venues. You want to be here to play the competition.
Our fans always travel for us, and they always look out for us, so I definitely think it'll be an advantage for us. We just got to bring our game with us, and they'll do the rest.
Another non-conference test for the Longhorns. On ESPN2. Second half coming up. Texas and Rice. You're watching it on LHN.
Refresh your home with the help of Living Spaces and get everything you need fast with free shipping. Upgrade your style and enjoy a quick and easy makeover with our wide variety of in-stock collections that are available for free next-day delivery. From your living room and dining room to your bedrooms and office, every space deserves a new furniture piece here and a chic accessory there. Discover the designs you love and we'll ship them for free. Only at Living Spaces and livingspaces.com.
Living Spaces.
They say home is where the heart is. But if you bleed burnt orange, home is in the heart of Texas. So come and play at Omni Barton Creek Resort and Spa. Play a few rounds on championship courses. Enjoy traditional Texas flavors. Bask in hill country views. And cheer on your favorite team on their home turf, which is never far away. It's time to come home and play at Omni Barton Creek Resort and Spa.
He's an accountant from the Macomb School of Business whose career took off in 1986. At Southwest Airlines, he moved up the ranks and was named CEO in 2004.
I just have to pinch myself every day to be a part of such a wonderful company that does wonderful things and takes great care of its people.
Leading more than 46,000 employees, he's helped Southwest become the largest domestic airline carrier in the U.S. Gary Kelly, he's a Longhorn legend.
The Dealey Center for New Media was built to help students thrive in an ever-changing media landscape. One example of that change, a full-scale audio production program within the School of Journalism called The Drag.
I offer students the best college job they could possibly find because they get to come here, make podcasts. We have, at any one time, somewhere between 10 and 15 student employees working for us. They get paid for it on a flexible schedule with some of the coolest people on campus. Yeah, it's the dream.
This is something that is being produced for the people, and people will listen.
We have students who are going to build things that are going to be heard by countless people that are going to propel their careers. And I think this sets them up for success.
Back here in Austin, Rice with a 33-29 lead over the Texas Longhorns. It's been a very heavy day for this Texas program. News breaking early this morning, developing throughout the course of the day, that head coach Chris Beard is suspended without pay as he is facing a third-degree felony charge of assault by strangulation on a family member or household member. He was arrested early Monday after police responded to an urgent disturbance call. They arrived on the scene. They found a woman that stated she was assaulted by Chris Beard. He was released from Travis County Jail at 2:44 p.m. Central Time on a $10,000 bond. Order of protection was issued. He is not allowed to be within 200 yards from the residence where the incident occurred. Myron Metcalf from ESPN now joins us with the latest. What can you tell us, Myron?
Well, the woman told police that she's been his fiance for the last 6 years and that they had an argument. And that argument became violent. She said she broke Chris Beard's glasses, and that's when he snapped, is what she said. And she told police that he choked me, he bit me, bruises all over my leg, throwing me around and going nuts. Police said that there were visible bruises on her body, her head, her arms. When Chris Beard was asked about his side of things, he said he had audio recordings to show that he wasn't the primary aggressor. Police asked him to submit those audio recordings, and Chris Beard refused to do so. And that is the latest on the circumstances surrounding Chris Beard's arrest, his suspension without pay until further notice, where Rodney Terry is now the acting head coach until the next step here in this process.
Myron, thank you for the update, and all of that information is according to the police arrest affidavit. Lance, let's bring you in. So much of the story that still needs to develop, and we need to find out more of. But what we know right now, as it pertains to this Texas team, is that Rodney Terry is the man that will guide the Longhorns at this time. What's on his shoulders?
Well, really to lead in the most purest and truest form. Obviously, speaking for myself, especially that no one wants to condone violent activity or violence of any type. But Rodney feels like he has a job to do. He feels like his career has prepared him for this in every stop. Also, Lowell, lest we forget, he was here at Texas. As you see there at the bottom of the graphic, he spent time here with Coach Rick Barnes, and one of the best times in terms of the history of this program. But after he left here, he went on to be a head coach at Fresno State, where he was getting them back on track. Even took a team to the NCAA tournament, and then, of course, at UTEP here in Texas, and then back home. So his career path in his mind has prepared him to do what he's doing. He's showing it, I think, with his poise on the sideline. Now he just needs to put results with that. And I think he'll do it, and he is the right man for it. I talked to people around the program even, and they said, hey, we are very lucky to have Rodney Terry here because everybody loves him. He knows this place as well as anyone on the staff.
And this is just a huge challenge because all these guys came to the University of Texas to play for Chris Beard. And he is no longer, at this moment, in the picture for this program. So much uncertainty. There's so many details right now that the team doesn't know because they literally unfolded with the police affidavit in the moments leading up to the start of this game. So a lot of these guys on the team don't truly understand the severity and the impact that these charges will have on them and this program.
Which is why, as athletes, you're trained to stay in the present moment. You know, what's behind you, obviously, you often can't do anything about. And what's in front of you, you look too far, you can't control that. You have to stay present. And that's what Rodney Terry and the staff are tasked to do with these young men. As you see, they make a silly turnover here right out of the gate.
So opening possession, turnover, and then a quick foul by Timmy Allen. You see the numbers there. The three-point shooting has been a difference, especially the rebounding, though. A 22-15 edge for the Rice Owls. That's where Scott Parra thought they had to be effective, especially on the offensive glass, where they have a 9-5 lead over Texas. So the Longhorns need to get something going, and it probably starts with some stops here. Fiedler has been very effective setting up the Rice offense from the post. Late shot clock again, a long heave. No good, but Sheffield keeps it alive. Another offensive rebound. That's now 10 for the Owls.
Well, Texas has to find bodies when those long balls go up. Long shots, usually, if they're missed, equal long rebounds.
Oh, he wanted to throw it down. Kai Mason wanted it all. Oh, God. That's going to be a charge.
Boy, did he ever. But a good job there by Timmy Allen of getting his feet set, coming over to help. You'll see it here. Mason really would look like he was going to dunk that ball.
Another turnover. So there's 2 for Allen here to open up the second half.
Those are huge turnovers for Texas because every time you turn the ball over, obviously it's a missed opportunity, but it also prevents you from getting any momentum which you need being down 4 points against a team like a Rice who can shoot so well.
Dylan Dessou for 3. Dessou makes that outside shot. He's really been trying to add that to his game. Came in and shooting 20% from behind the arc. That's a huge shot. Puts Texas within 1. They have not led in this game. Fiedler tried to get a little too cute. He was wide open for the 3. Bounce it off the Texas player. Mitchell up and under, no. And Dessou is going to be called for the foul.
Yeah.
In the first half. Now a 1-point game. But it's not like Rice has kept up that electric pace that they showed in the first half.
Full pace and obviously rhythm. But when you've got a Mason who is incredibly athletic and he is streaking to the basket, you've got to put a hand in that passing lane. He's only 0 for 1, obviously, from the three-point line today, and that's not an area where he's excelling. You've got to know the personnel and know the people to identify. Now, it's different if you're guarding Evie, those guys on the perimeter, but with Mason around the rim is where he has excelled today.
Mason and Evie combined 2 of 15 from the field. The go-to guy has been Olivari. 14 points on 5 of 8 shooting, 3 of 4 from outside. The Longhorns, Mitchell is the leader with 10 points. And that's a foul on Olivari. Number 3 on him. So Liepert, Olivari with 3 for the Owls. Bishop and Dessou with 3 for the Longhorns. Carr wide open 3, and he knocks out one down. He knew it. Carr with the spark. His 4th from outside, and Texas has the lead for the first time tonight. Now the pressure is on Rice, and they respond. Fiedler, what he does best, setting up Evie.
Yeah, he's a conduit again. Once he catches the ball, he knows where everyone is. You lose your man, he's going to find him.
Carr with separation and drops the bucket. Texas takes the lead back. Carr now the leading scorer for the Longhorns with 11. Trying to lock down Evie. Fiedler is open. He's going to give it up. That's his game. Backdoor cut. Touch. A little too much. And a foul after Mason tracked down that loose ball. Let's go back to Marcus Carr, though. He's finding his rhythm.
Yeah, and Surgical. Watch him step back. You see there, Oliveri tries to go under and beat him to a spot. The nice little cut. And then, of course, he uses the shoulder to create some space. Carr does. Knocks down a little 17, 18-footer there inside the arc.
Quick feed. Fiedler too high off the glass. Bishop back to Carr. Longhorns now can extend the lead. Carr stays hot. No, good look, just missed it.
He surprised himself. I think he didn't realize that shot was going to be that easy and open.
Mason with the move. Spricked it. Sheffield off the hands to Hunter.
Numbers. You got
Longhorns running with Bishop. The throwdown. Christian Bishop with his first points of the night, and they come at the right time.
Well, right time, but one of the keys to a fast break is recognizes when you have numbers. Texas has the momentum. Rice knew where to find the big man. You get a dunk, you get momentum, and you get a little rest in play.
Decorative towel.
There was a mess. I wiped up a mess.
Yeah, you...
Where is the box? Never mind, I found it.
Welcome back, football fans. We'll see you in the fridge.
Are you ready? Let's play. Are you ready? Let's play. Are you ready? Let's play.
As a law professor at UT, he rose to national prominence when he led the investigation into the infamous Enron scandal. In his nearly 10 years as president of the university, he oversaw the founding of the School of Undergraduate Studies, the Dell Medical School, and the Campaign for Texas that raised over $3 billion. He relentlessly championed the vision of UT as a first-class public university. Bill Powers, he's a Longhorn legend.
Only 4 teams remained. Soon, they would take part in an epic playoff battle for the right to call themselves national champions.
Rice Owls led by 10 with 1:40 left in the first half. The Longhorns have responded with a 16-3 run. They take the lead for the first time tonight off a 3 by Marcus Carr, who's got 11 points.
Well, I thought the beauty of this, beyond Marcus Carr, was how Texas rebounded from the early adversity low. The first 2 possessions were turnovers, so they were playing uphill a little bit, that being Texas. And then Carr took it upon himself, and I thought made some just great reads of the defense. And Carr caught guys with their hands in the cookie jar, if you will, and exploited them on the offensive end of the floor. But now Carr's got to get his teammates to go along with him. He's got to get Hunter involved in this. Rice has to execute as well. And they've got to close things out at the end of their defensive possessions with rebounds.
Yeah, defensive intensity is cranked up. Rice has only hit 2 of their last 12 shots from the field.
And Rice has 11 offensive rebounds, so Texas needs to shore this end up with these rebounds.
Evie turns the corner on Mitchell. How do you get that to go?
He didn't turn it all the way, but did a good job. Get that ball up high and away from Texas's lip.
Carr with some contact against Olivari. And Carr gets the shot to go. He's got 13 points.
Speaking of shot, I think Oliveri took a shot to the mouth.
He did.
That was well done. There you see Evie. Look how high this is. You really can't touch that. And then the little fella goes right back at him. Little tit for tat here in Austin.
Are you ready? Let's play. Are you ready? Let's play. Are you ready? Let's play.
Odds are, if you've been by his booth, you've felt the Texas-sized personality that's made parking enforcement officer Michael Shaw one of the most popular figures on the 40 acres.
Have a great day. I got you. I got you, my man. Have an awesome day.
It's all about the love and the happiness. So when they leave here at the gate, they can take that love and that joy with them.
My man with the plan.
How are you?
Oh, it only gets started when you get here.
Shaw's energy isn't just felt by students. His impact resonates all the way to the highest office on campus.
Young lady, continue to have an awesome day. Even though we're over here in lights and cameras, you still shine. Have an awesome day. All right.
Sometimes things work out right. We got Mike at the right spot. He's at the front door, and he's that initial face so many people see on campus. I was noticing just being with him the little things he was catching. And you take it for granted a little bit as you go through every day, but having somebody like that who's looking after the details from a safety perspective, I think is just fantastic.
Well, what this job teaches me, and I tell everybody all the time, when I'm talking to people and encouraging them and uplifting them, I'm really just refortified in that in myself. So let's have an awesome day. And it's kind of like what I'm pouring out is really being poured back into me. Have an awesome day, young lady.
Thank you. You too.
All right.
I'm the biggest fan around.
The face paint.
The finger.
The team toll tag on my ride. Rep my team, save on tolls.
My new tattoo.
You paid for that?
Show your Longhorn pride.
The Rice Owls are staying close to the Texas Longhorns here in Austin, Texas, in the Moody Center, in large part because of their big fella, Max Feeder. Look at this pass here. Didn't end in a finish, but look at this one also. Threads the needle. If you cut and you look alive, he's going to find you. And he even had a little bit of a baby jump hook early, showing some defense with the great hands as Coach Kerr gives the fist pump, doing his best. Bill Walton, Fiedler with the beard, Lowell.
A lower scoring game for the Rice Owls. Not the type of game they're most comfortable with. They like to get out and run up the score as well. But hanging tough here, the feed by Fiedler inside Evie and one. These guys won't stop.
No, they won't. And I'm having a debate with the truck. I'm getting some eating stuff, but I can't. A little bit of the look, but the game, I can't. I got to go Walton. Look at this, man. If you cut, look at that pass. I mean, he mentioned that one of his most watched pro guys is LeBron James. I see why. And he has a similar skill in that. LeBron is one of the best ever to play, if not the best, of hitting you on time, on target, in the right spot. That's exactly what Fiedler does as a college player. You do not have to reach hard. The ball literally will hit you in the chin if you aren't paying attention.
Hunter open three, no good. Bishop fighting for it. That's going to be a Texas basketball. Christian Bishop getting after it there. Goes off for Rice Owl. Let's see it. Yeah, I don't know.
Hey,
Texas will take it.
Yes, they will. I don't know either. I didn't see anything.
Carr has been very good in the second half. Bishop trying to take Fiedler off the dribble, and he does.
He did a good job, Bishop did. When he caught that, as Fiedler was coming up, he didn't pause. He just immediately cut down the lane line and finished that. Well done by Bishop on both ends.
Does it on the other end. Christian Bishop, little celebration after taking that charge.
Yeah, and that's what Rice has proven to Texas, is Texas is going to have to do it on both ends. Watch this, immediately. He attacks the feet of the big. Not much he can do as he keeps his body attached. And then Bishop gets in place, gets the feet set. Mason runs him over.
Bishop last time out, 16 points and 9 rebounds against Arkansas Pine Bluff. Both of those season highs.
I'm sorry, I said Mason. I meant Sheffield. Charge.
Carr. Weaving, cutting, bobbing. Bottom line, he got to the hoop and converted. You can see the look in Carr's eyes. He wants this one. Fiedler finds an open Kusanovic. It's a nasty touch. Rice quickly the other way. Morris follows. Man, he is really tough on the offensive glass.
Yeah, and you talked about him against Illinois where he had some pretty impressive almost rebounds and or rebounds. You got to find Morris when the ball goes up because he is sneaky athletic vertically.
Fiedler was left open, but he's not taking shots unless he's point blank, and even then, it's with some hesitance.
No, he wants to pass the ball. He's a pass first, second, third.
Nice cut by Evie and the feed. He put the binoculars on, too.
Well, the other reason they're so hard to guard, Rice, is they've got 4 smalls and the big, who is the facilitator, is away from the basket.
Rice got him and one. Remember the first time that Hosinovic saw that shot fake, he did not bite. He bit this time, he got burnt.
Well, it's one of those things that you got to know. It's in the game notes, but it's almost impossible because of the way he does it. And it's not fast. And you've heard me say it before, Lo. It's a Larry Hughes pump fake, and he just really shows you the ball in slow motion and forces you to jump.
Rims out, Cunningham, offensive board. Morris for 3. Back iron. Texas just 4 of 15 from outside.
Well, you see the floor open. There's no one around the basket. And what will happen is they give it to Fiedler, and then they cut. And that's where they're incredibly dangerous because there's no protection near the rim.
Tough
there it is.
Shot. The man they call Draymond.